Why doesn't she go to the right as good as she goes to the... No! Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review. Tonight, I'm going to take a look at the Bandai S.H. Figuarts Star Wars Padmé Amidala. Now, it's been a couple weeks since I did a review, but I figure it's like riding a bike. But I was never very good at riding a bike, so I may be a little bit rusty. I'm a little bit tired, but bear with me, guys. I will get through this. Looking at the package here, no window, and I kind of hate that, but I understand the reasoning behind it. This was an overseas exclusive. It wasn't meant to go on shelves, so there's no selling point to actually seeing the figure. Everyone that was sold, for the most part anyway, was sold. There was no catch to it. So casual buyers aren't going to walk by it, see it up on the shelf, have to look at the figure inside, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm talking about. So yeah, I understand, but I really don't like it. I like seeing my figure before I get into the box. So we have the pretty promotional picture on the front, this Photoshop to hell picture, which I guess is okay. Some logos, some names. On the side, again, pretty picture. On the back, more of the promotional pictures. We see it in an action pose. I wish I had that kind of background or dio to work out of, because that would be cool. Then we have the logos, the name, some unreadables down here. Probably says something like, "Do not tell this figure what to do, because she will not do it at all." On the side, the usual Star Wars silver motif. Top logo. The bottom, more warnings and more unreadables. But I'm going to get this open and see what is going on here. Have some instructions. The hands, I don't know about these two right here. I mean, you have thumb in, thumb out, but it works, whatever. Pop the head on and off. Most interestingly, though, is the battle droid blaster. The handle comes off, it slips into the hand, then you plug it back in. I like that. There's not any undue stress on the hand itself. And then a bunch of stuff I can't read. Probably says something like, "Don't break your shit." And there we go, all out of the package. And I really like this figure. After Anakin being a little bit disappointing in certain aspects, I'm not saying I hate that figure. I do like it. But Padme makes me like Anakin more, if that makes any sense. That's how good this is. And looking at the sculpt, it's soft in all the right places, and it's hard in other places. And I know that's going to be construed as something sexual or something like that, but you know what I mean. What needs to be sharp and detailed and hard edges, it's there. But in places that it needs to be soft, like the skin, the belly, the face, it's there. I don't know how else to describe it. The torn shirt is really nice at the sleeve and the midsection. I would have liked to see a full costume like this, but I understand why they went this way. It's more dynamic, it's more exciting. And then turn around to the paint. There's not a lot of it, but the flesh tones look really nice. There's kind of a subtle shading to it. It brings out the detail, but not bam in your face. You know what I mean? You have to kind of look for it. Your mind picks up on it without actually seeing it. And then there's some dirtiness to the costume. I thought this would be straight white, but it's kind of a cream tan color. And then the boots have kind of a dirty wash to it to bring those out, to differentiate those from the rest of the clothing. And then up to the head, you can definitely see Natalie Portman in this sculpt. Not every angle. We're used to seeing action figures like that where sometimes you get that angle and it's like, oh, no, that's not right. But for most angles here, it's definitely her. And even though I've had a few QC issues with paint the past few releases, not being straight, or one eye is darker than the other, this one is really, really nice. And I'm glad, because this is my only Padme figure. There may be a slight dirtiness to the face, but it doesn't come across unless you just ride up on it. But one nitpick with the paint, the hair may be a little bit light. It feels like it needs to be just a tad darker, but I'm not going to grump about that at all. And oddly enough, I think one of my favorite things is the hair bun thing back here. It's just wild, it's crazy, it's just kind of thrown in there, but it's nicely sculpted. It looks kind of like a braid just wrapped up into something crazy. I like it. Don't ask me why. My eye just tracks straight to there, but it does. And then like I was talking about the tears, it's more apparent here on the front where it looks ripped and just torn. Back here it kind of flattens out, but we have these nice tears here seeing through, and it looks like The skin is, oh, well, that's a rubber overlay. No wonder the skin tone matches all the way through. And then another one of my favorite things is the belly button. I know we see these on figures where they're not supposed to be, where it's supposed to be a shirt covered by cloth, whatever. But here, it's just really nice. And that's not me going, oh, sexy figure. It's just me pointing that out. It looks good. Again, you see it, but you're not just automatically drawn to it. It looks overall like one piece. It's kind of awesome. But I do have a slight problem with the right arm popping out. I kind of overextend it. Not even overextend it. I go to move it and it kind of wedges against the torso and it pops out pretty easily. Not bad. It's not just falling out by itself. The left I can pull out without much effort too, but the right arm is the gun holding arm. So I've been messing with that a lot more, so I noticed it more here. Also, her left hand, the one that came on in the package, is loose too. But you know what? I'm not going to gripe about that too much because we've seen those figures in the past where the hands are just super tight. You're scared they're going to break the peg off or pull that joint apart. So, yes, this pulling off a little bit easily, not a terrible thing, just different than what we've seen in the past. Now, going over articulation, there's a ball at the top of the neck and the bottom of the neck. Super good. Super good? Great range of movement here. You get chin buried into the chest. You get looking up. You get tilt to the side. Look at that. That's fantastic. Tilt to the other side. And then, of course, there's swivel. There's a ball coming out to a swivel in the shoulder, and it has one of those caps to kind of hide the articulation in there. So you get up. You get rotation around. You get a single elbow, but it comes nearly all the way up. Swivel hinge swivel at the wrist, so you get swivel and you get hinge, but you can also kind of fudge that around and make it a up and down hinge, whichever direction you want to go. There's a ball in the mid-torso and a ball in the waist, so leaning forward, and because that being a rubber piece right there, you get great range of movement there. Arc back, same thing, side, side, and then kind of a swivel. It's not shaped to be a full swivel, but you get some movement. The hips aren't a drop-down hinge. They're just a peg coming out to a ball inside the hip, but you get all the way forward. You get all the way back, even with the rubber kind of butt sculpt right here. And you get out about that far. Little bit of swivel on that ball. Single knee comes up to about right there. Ball at the ankle, not a lot of movement back. A little bit forward. Some rocker on that ball, and then a toe joint that goes about right there. For accessories, Padme has a set of just at-rest hands. She has a set of open hands with the thumb out, and yes, after playing around with her, I figured out these are the gun-holding hands. Not the grip, but the one she holds the weight of the gun with. During the instructions, I griped about, what's the difference with these hands? But there was a purpose to it, so it works for me. And then you have pistol grip hands for both left and right. And like I said, it's not super tough. The right is a little bit tighter than the left, and really, it's just this one hand that's super loose. It's not any of the others. And I do like that they added the bottom of the sleeve to the left hands to kind of extend that down. You can see the other ones are like that too. So you have the grip hand, or you have the weight of the blaster hand, and then you have the grip hand, which works with the blaster. It's nice, but there's some oddities to it. Not griping about the sculpt at all, but when we get to the paint. If you go back to the Battle Droid blaster, you'll see that it's a dark, dark, dark gray, almost black, but not quite, and some silver accents on it, some paint apps. Here, this is just straight black. A little bit disappointing, but oddly enough, if you remember back to the instructions, the handle comes off to go in her hand. It's actually cast in white and then painted black. So the effort was there. I don't know why they just didn't add more paint apps on top. And to put that in her hand, you just pop the handle into her pistol grip hand. And it's a little bit tight because it's larger at the top than it is at the bottom. And on top of that, when you put the blaster on, and you're posing her around, you're getting the other hand underneath, you're putting her in action. This likes to kind of pop off. It's not a mushroom peg, it's just a straight peg, so it's just friction holding it on. So this tends to fall off whenever you're getting crazy with it. I don't see myself ever using this hand for anything else. I'm likely to just glue the top onto here with the hand on it, and then I'll just pop the hand on afterwards. And that, see, I mean, any kind of odd movement pops the top off. That's probably what I'll end up doing, it just to keep it all together. And then her final accessory is an extra head, and they did right here. Kinda angry head, more determined, I guess. She's in the middle of battle. She's teeth gritted, open mouth kind of. Her eyes are a little bit more angry. But for the first time in a while, I actually got an extra head that's painted correctly. The eyes may be slightly looking off, but they're looking in the same direction. So I'm good with that. And the face, while not super hugely different, is different enough to make me not think, why did they even throw an extra head in here? And to pop that off, there's just a ball. Oh, that's not good. That's the first time it's done that. The ball popped off into the head and out of the neck. That's weird. Yeah. Put it back in. Put the extra head back on. And there you go. It's easy enough. Let's see if it pops back out. Well, that's what it's supposed to do. There you go. Here she is with the S.H. Figuarts Anakin from the same movie. This works great. I'm so happy with this. Like I said, I was a little bit disappointed with Anakin, but Padme is so awesome, it makes me like Anakin more. Here she is with the S.H. Figuarts Geonosian Battle Droid. Again, this works great. And as you can see, I still have the Elvis pelvis going on with this battle droid. Never fixed it. I figured, what the hell, just leave it like this. And then with the Figuarts Phase 1 Clone Trooper. This isn't my favorite Clone Trooper. It's a little bit small in my mixed display up on the shelf at Black Series, Mafex, Figuarts, you know the drill. But if you're only doing Figuarts, this is really great. And then to give you an idea of Black Series scale, here she is with the standard Black Series Stormtrooper. So at the end of the day, consider me happy. I really, really, really like this release. Yeah, they kind of went plain with the Battle Droid Blaster, but otherwise, even though some of my Figuarts lately have been QC ridden, this isn't. Yeah, okay, a little bit of looseness here and there, but nothing to make me say, I hate this figure. Quite the opposite. I love this figure. And not just because it's the first Padme we're getting, it's because I like it. It's a good female sculpt. Now I definitely want to see more females from Figuarts. We need a Rey, we need a Jyn, we need some Leias, maybe some more Padmes. I'll take whatever they give at this point. And like I've said several times, this enhances my display, especially for this movie. It makes me like the Obi-Wan a little bit better. It makes me like the Anakin a little bit better, even though I had my problems with both of those figures. This definitely doesn't stop me from wanting an Episode 3 Anakin and Obi-Wan, though. Do I want a pregnant Padme? If the other two are good enough, I'll take it too. Hell, you guys know when I'm bullshitting. If they release a Star Wars figure, I'll probably buy it. I may not be super happy with it, and if I'm not, I'll tell you. But if I'm happy, I'm happy. And this figure, it makes me happy. Have I said happy enough? Happy. So if you like the review, comment, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the Fwoosh.